Blog Talk Radio.
Well, here we go, boys and girls across this great country. If it's Tuesday, it had to be the Barrel Radio Show. Thanks to Bobby Hallback joining Marianne Costello and myself on that one. The second of this trifecta before the Philadelphia show. After this, Jack Clark's son will be in that one. But this one's a very special one in Cleveland because as we move the Cleveland Indians to the backside as they're losing to the New York Yankees right now 2-0, we move the presidential debate a few feet out, and we welcome the American Sports History Podcast live from Cleveland, Ohio with my good friend Peter Ray, 347-205-9631. Yours truly, Mark Mancini, producing this. Without further ado, let me roll the red carpet out, get him the mic, get him the podium. Peter, first of all, how are you? Second of all, how can people get a hold of you? Third of all, I think you hit the lottery with this guest tonight.
Oh, hi, Mark. I'm fine, and everything's going well. I have a website. It's Adventures in History with Peter J. Ray at peterjray.com. We make history videos in several areas. I also have a YouTube channel. It's my name, Peter J. Ray, R-E-A. Yeah, you're right about tonight's guest. She's been described as a boot camp fitness lady. She's also known as a woman warrior influencer, mother, wife, friend, and vixen. And she's from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, on the foothills of the Canadian Rockies. And as a geography person, of course, the Rockies go into the U.S. and one could argue even into Mexico, the Sierra Madre. And she grew up in the far north of Alberta, which is really very, very interesting. And her website is Tamara Boivin Fitness. Welcome to the show, Tamara.
Hello. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm really. The program, American Sports History. Of course, that topic comes to mind is primarily spectator sports. Thousands of people gathered in stadiums or arenas watching men and now women play baseball, basketball, football, and hockey, and so forth. And but the thing is, and then the large emphasis is on winning. Winning the games, and the folks are just watching. But of course, what's healthy is when everyone wins and when we all are involved. And this is what you're doing. You're involved in sport where people participate and they enjoy it and it helps good for their health. So I think it's really wonderful the work you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, we have fun. It's funny. We usually have people because we're always at like different events and community things and town gatherings, doing our fitness, and it's better when people participate, and we usually have a huge crew that's usually just watching, and I try to get them and encourage them to join us because I'm like, we're not a spectator sport. It's better if you actually do it with us.
Now I saw this, you have a podcast where it intrigued me. The title is The 5 Elements of Letting Go. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, it was a friend of mine in town. He's an acupuncturist and a Chinese medicine doctor, and he had invited me to join his podcast, and that is his topic. And every week it's about mental health and what we're doing to help each other and ourselves. And so he tries to focus on different strategies and tools and just feel good, stories and messages of our own lives and our own experiences and our own expertises. And so that's one of them. I like to be able to share when I've been on a podcast or been invited, what we're doing right now, and post it on my website, and then people can, check it out and then maybe find out that that's more information that they want to get, and, start tuning in and listening on a regular basis for you.
Right, absolutely. Now, the things I've seen, these 4 things you're doing: Kundalini Yoga, Zumba, and Pound. Now, can you talk about Kundalini Yoga? I find that very intriguing.
Well, Kundalini Yoga is the yoga of awareness, and everything that we do within each unique class. So no two classes are the same, but everything that we're doing is to prepare us for meditation. So really to be mindful and to connect our body, mind, and soul into our daily practice. So with Kundalini Yoga, it's not a traditional yoga by any means. We work with the glandular system, the lymphatic system, the digestive system, the energy system, so like the chakras. So we try to incorporate all different aspects and try to allow our bodies to get stronger and our minds to know that we can get through anything. And, it's known to help with ailments and health issues and, mental health, but also even helps with addictions and things like that. So it's a very, very unique but very profound type of yoga. And when I just started as a student, and it literally changed my life. And I just knew I had to do something with it. But when I took my training, it was just for myself because we were getting ready to move away for a few months and go down to Mexico. But I have been teaching it since 2010, and I love it. And when people try to explain it, it's very hard to explain. You just kind of have to experience it. And it's about moving that energy that's dormant at the base of the spine, the Kundalini energy, and it wraps like a serpent up and around the whole body system. And it makes you feel good and allows there to be an opportunity for more flexibility in your life, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally as well.
So you were on a show with Marianne Costello recently. You two must have had a really good talk because she was on last week, and this is what you've been talking about here. And as I look at your website, this is really deals with health and some non-traditional ideas about health, which, considering how much illness there is among the general public, so important for not things that really work and help people to develop health.
Yeah, well, one thing that even with my Kundalini Yoga teachings, but it's very prevalent in all of the types of things that I teach. Somebody a long time ago had talked to me about dis-ease. So disease is just a dis-ease. So when we feel that uneasiness, or we feel that there's a disconnect or a space that in our life, like whether it is in our relationships, in our work, in our happiness, in our whatever, when there's that disconnect and there's that an uneasy feeling and everything, that's where a space that illness and disease can be created. And so I hope with what I do for our community, whether it's in person or online, that I can, just even, either lift the spirits of somebody or allow them to have a safe place to just be themselves, or to let out aggression, or to work it out. A lot of times I tell people, leave the stresses, but if you bring them to class, just, set them off to the side. And if you want to collect them on the way out, go for it. Otherwise, we'll just clean the space after, and you don't have to take it with you. So I hope that, anytime that we have the opportunity to make a difference in somebody's life, that, we don't waste that time.
Well, that's wonderful. It seems to me that there's so much to learn about health, and that we're sort of, I think we've been living in the dark ages in terms of healthcare, and I feel like stuff like you're doing is part of the movement toward a golden age, a higher age for the world, and where people really, instead of just spending a lot of money on healthcare and people just getting sick or dying and never getting better, actually having good health and happiness. because there's also so much, not only physical illness, but also mental illness, people with depression and so forth. So this is just incredible
I can
here.
only imagine, especially right now with what the world is going through with COVID and the disconnects and the struggles with our economy and everything, whether you're in Canada or United States or Europe, we're all kind of feeling it. And if we can create just a place for us to figure out like what's working, what's not working, but if we can within classes or getting together with friends and everything, hopefully you can help people and raise that spirit and raise that vibration, because it is a very difficult and tough time for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think the good thing about, obviously, yes, there's a lot of destruction, all the unemployment and so forth, but I think my thought is that there's always good in everything, and maybe the good is that people can be more open to new ideas, and we can have a better, because it's disrupt. What's happened is people's lives have been disruptive. That their lifestyles have been disruptive, and maybe from this people can develop a much better lifestyles. And and since before COVID there was a lot of problems, a lot of poor health and so forth, and maybe this can really lead to an improvement of more interest in things like being more open-minded to things that are different instead of just doing the traditional things and being in a rut. So I think it's very, I just look at this stuff because I'm in a church. We practice, there's the talk about the Kundalini where we don't do the, it's mostly about silencing the thoughts and developing peace of mind and God contact through slowing the breathing and stilling the thoughts, and then but this is a lot of this some of this stuff does tie in with what you're doing with what you've got here in the Kundalini Yoga description. Now let's move on to Zumba. Now that's very intriguing because now what is what language or what country does the word Zumba come from? Is that Brazilian?
It actually started in Colombia, and it was actually by mistake that it started. It was a gentleman named Beto, and he went to go teach, an aerobics class, and he forgot his music, so he went to his vehicle and grabbed a mic, threw it in, and just made stuff up on the go, and everybody was asking, okay, well, can we do that again? And he's like, So Zumba is dance fitness. It is mostly Latin-inspired music, but there is a lot of worldly and universal music, and it's easy to follow choreography. It's I don't know how to explain it. I remember going to step aerobics as a kid, and I thought that was amazing. Well, Zumba is even that much more amazing, and I love it. And the cool thing with Zumba is it has something for everybody. So, like, there's Zumba Kids, there's Aqua Zumba, so that's in the water. There's Zumba Toning, so that's with weights. We have Strong Nation, so that's more like a HIIT fit that Zumba started. And there is Zumba Step, and I'm just trying to even remember if there's any other ones that I'm missing, and Zumba Gold for older active adults that want more low impact. And the cool thing is you can find you can find Kundalini Yoga wherever you are. You just have to look it up. You'd be able to find Zumba if you went on Zumba.com. You'd be able to find a class in probably any town anywhere in the world. Because it is worldwide, and then Pound is now available in a lot of countries. So, so it's super fun, and I think what I love about it is it's a great excuse to have a party any time of the day. So, the first class that I ever went to was 8 a.m, and that was in Mexico, and because of heat and everything, and so just thinking that there is like a dance party as if like you could like some of us have like neon lights and disco lights, and I have like lights that we do in glow in the dark. So if you put on neon, then you're glowing, and it's just an excuse to have fun, but be tricked into working out because you burn a lot of calories and feel good after.
I'm currently working as a caregiver for the elderly, and I have a Puerto Rican fellow I work with, and he talks about merengue and salsa and Puerto Rican, and he has these fond memories of that as a young man, dancing those Puerto Rican dances.
I love it.
And so it kind of reminds me of that. When he was talking about that. So this is really something, Zumba. And now I have a question for you. With the elderly, I was watching I'm not that old. I'm 60. I turned on your video, and I couldn't keep up with it. So what do you tell people who they see this? You're supposed to sort of follow along, right? And what do you tell people who can't keep up with, just to do their best to maybe do it half time?
Yeah, you know what? It depends. Like there are programs like I was saying. There's Zumba Gold, or there's also Zumba Gold Seated. So I've taught classes that we sit down in a chair and do everything. So it just depends on where people are at. But I have people of all ages, all sizes, all fitness levels. People that have been coming to class for years to people that have just showed up. Like this morning, I had a lady that was brand new. And people just, like, there's some people that just love the music so much, they don't care. They can do their own thing in the corner with their own moves and everything. But, I show within classes, I show ways to modify, ways to intensify, ways to push yourself, and ways to really just honor yourself. I hope that when people come to our classes, wherever you are, that even feel that you can talk to the instructor, and if you have any ailments or anything like that, let them know, and they can help guide through the class. Still with the same movements and everything, but so last week I had a lady that had hurt her rotator cuff, and so anytime that I was about to do like a big arm movement, I locked eyes with her, and I would show the same thing without putting too much attention on her, because a lot of people don't want that as well. But just knowing that I had her back, then she could just do her thing, and really it's just about honoring yourself. And there's a lot of people that will be like, well, I'm not coordinated, or I don't know what they're doing. But it takes a few classes in order to learn, and a lot of people give up right away. And really, it's just about having fun. And if you can move, if you can snap your fingers, if you can bop your head, it's still a good Zumba class.
Now, my impression is that Zumba is very popular today, or is it? How long has Zumba been? When did it become popular? Has it been the last 10 years? Would you say, or?
No, I think if I remember correctly, I think it was I don't even know. It's been a lot longer than I've been around. It's probably been 20 years, I'm sure.
But it's it's continuing to grow in popularity.
Yeah, it goes. You know what? It goes through phases, much like anything else. We have so many wonderful fitness regimes out there, and ones that are being created at all times. And there's been a lot of things that, even Zumba has created or inspired other fitness things to be started that have nothing to do with Zumba. So, it's still, in my world, it's still really quite popular, but it goes with the flow. It goes in phases. I hope it's around for a long time, because I strongly believe in the results and what it does for people. And, it brings people together, and the friendships that are created. I love it.
Yeah, I'm sure. When you think about people, tend to be, it's not that easy making friends, and then something like this would kind of get really people opened up and and then more expressive and probably more communicative. And then of course they're there, and then they have the other people there, and then they would probably start talking afterward and get together.
Yes. Some of the closest friendships have come from these kind of classes because, we've all started somewhere. We were always at one point we were the first time that we had gone. So, I've been very lucky with even people that come to my class and they see somebody that's new and they really encourage them to by having conversations or giving them smiles and everything, because we've all been there. We know how overwhelming and how nerve-wracking it can be to step in especially within a group that looks like they know what they're doing. But these communities are amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure, and it's now another thing you are involved in is pound, and I imagine the word pound comes from pounding drumsticks.
Yeah, we pound it out. So it started with 2 women drummers in California, and they felt that would be a really good workout because they loved what they did, and so they designed these bright green weighted sticks called rip sticks, and specially designed for pound classes. And so there is no drum, so a lot of people get frustrated because they're like, well, I thought it was a drum class, but there's no drum. But the floor is the drum, your yoga mat is the drum. We're reaching side to side, hitting the stick. So if you can clap your hands, you can do pound. It's lower impact, but still a full body workout because we're not dancing around. But it is still governed by the music that we play, and it feels so good. And if anything, you're really pounding out some frustrations out of that body of yours when you come to class, because you're actually physically getting to hit something. So,
and you've been doing the work that you do now. You've been doing for 10 years. What were you doing? What kind of work did you do before this?
I was in retail before children and in the hospitality world, but I took a few years to raise a family and support my husband in his business, and then so I had always dabbled in going to classes, but never would I have thought that I would have actually been the one that was going to teach them. But it's been since 2010, and I'm so grateful. There's nothing, I don't know a better job for myself, because it's an excuse to party, it's an excuse to inspire, it's an excuse to, work out, because I get a good workout at the same time, and, and create a sense of new friendships and new families, really.
Well, it's interesting how life is. You're living your life, and something comes along out of nowhere, and then it sounds like that's what happened with you. You took this class, and you didn't expect it would lead to a career.
Yeah, well,
that you would love so much.
Yeah, and I so do. And even when we were talking a little bit earlier, Peter, we were talking about this time during COVID. Well, as much as it could be a struggle, and we can focus on that part of it. Just think of all of the reimagining people are doing now. Now people are joining classes and checking things out online, and they are, your friendships and your relationships with your family and coworkers and everything. It's more important now, because I think it got to a point that we were taking everything for granted. And then when it's kind of brought back down to the basics, you get to see what is actually the most important, and hopefully you surround yourself with people that lift you up, and people that inspire you, and do things. If anything, this is a great opportunity to do the things that we love. Don't wait till you retire, or don't wait for another day. Just do it. And if there's for me in the fitness world, don't wait till the beginning of next month, or don't wait till New Year's resolution to start moving. Just do it, and just do it anyways. Even if you feel like you don't have the energy, or you have to be more fit or more healthy in order to do it. That's not the case. Just start and give yourself that time, and you won't regret it.
Yeah, I feel like before COVID, people, I mean, it is good to be busy, but we also can miss the most important things because we're doing so many others. We try to do everything, and you can't do everything. And especially with parents and family life, people being sort of everyone's busy and not really having time.
Mm-hmm.
And children need time with their parents, and a lot of times parents are so busy working and they're not home, and the kids are busy, and we've got this crazy society where everyone's sort of separated from each other, and then you have the elderly who are put out in these nursing homes where it's very, very terrible, and so we hopefully we can say, hey, let's do a better job here. Let's live life better, and so I think the stuff that you're doing is just really tremendous, and I give you all the credit in the world.
Well, and just think, with your passion of the sport, when we all get to go back to those games and we get to hopefully be a live spectator, how much more incredible that space will be.
Right. Well, I think actually, even though I am into this field, or I've had interest, but I really feel like people need to do stuff themselves and not live through others. So I'm kind of, even though I feel like one of the biggest mistakes I made was becoming a sports fan, because you got to live your life, and you got to we have to be winners in our lives, not live through other people. And so I think in the long term, professional sports is going to decline as people do things themselves, and this is what you're doing. There's joy in physical movement. There's not much joy in just sitting watching guys play, because and all you care about is whether you win or lose. We all need to win. If you play a sport, to me, it's not about the score. It's about playing, running around, the joy of physical movement.
Yeah. Well, they all started somewhere, right? Like, they all started as in some ways, that student or that player of just learning. So, hopefully this is a great opportunity for people to even take up a new sport or a new fitness regime or a new hobby or whatever. This is the perfect time for it. It's kind of like this, we had in March through June, we had this universal reboot, and now what are we going to do with it?
Yeah, what's interesting, I believe, I have a strong belief in God, or our Heavenly Father or Divine Mother, and that He created us, and that so we were created, and this whole world is the result of God's creativity, and we all have creativity in us as God's children, but often we don't have in life. Many of the things people do aren't very creative, and people are frustrated. So, in looking at your work, I imagine it's that what you're continuing to learn, and there's more, and evolve, and you do have that opportunity for creativity in your work.
Yeah. Oh, I am so spoiled in the type of work that I do, because especially like with Zumba, I can do my own choreography for each song. So I get to just, the world is my oyster, and then people gravitate to the kind of music that I choose, or things like that. But yeah, creativity is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for us to even lift our spirits ourselves within.
Our guest has been Tamara Boivin out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Her website is Tamara Boivin Fitness. We're almost out of time. Tamara, do you have any final words for our audience, or for our listeners?
Just have fun, move your bodies, and do things that you love. And you can visit me on www.tamaraboivin.com. And, I even have online classes that you can join from anywhere in the world.
Yeah, this is a real eye-opener, and it's been wonderful having you on. And I've heard, you hear the word Zumba thrown around, and but now I didn't really know what exactly it meant. And so I'm glad. And I find it all very intriguing what you're doing, especially the Kundalini Yoga. So it's really
you should check it out.
So thanks so much for coming on the show tonight, Tamara Boivin.
Thank you so much for having me.
Next week's it was a real honor and a privilege, Tamara. Next week's guest will be Captain Jet Ray Hoffman talking New York football. And in the meantime, dear listener, may the road rise to meet you. May the wind be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Good night, everybody. Thanks again, Tamara.
Thank you.
Okay, good night.